Kerry, I'm glad you're here. You played in the NFL. You went through the draft process, and there's just been a lot of talk about Shedeur Sanders, and all of a sudden folks are kind of questioning his character or some of the ways in which he handled himself in interviews. Some people just don't like his braggadocious style. He's fully aware of that too. If you've heard him in interviews over the last few months, he's like, I know some people think I'm a bad guy just because I like jewelry. Just I'm a bad guy because I got a nice car. He's like, no, that's not the case. And to be honest with you, what I keep reminding folks is we've not seen or heard really anything bad about him, not any trouble, not any issues. Is he ultra confident? Yeah. Have you met his dad? You think his dad was going to let him walk around? Oh, I don't know. I'm just happy to be here. Gee, golly shucks.
Right.
You think his dad was going to let him walk around like that?
Nope.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And but the things that you would look for, the concern, players and teammates talking bad about him, it's been nothing but that. We've had callers, Kerry, from Colorado say, man, I'm out here. And these guys, what they mean to the town, what they do, how they're in the community, has meant so much to us. Rob and I sat there and had calls about it. And so I'm not saying that he's gone into every situation with maybe the humility the league is used to. Right. Maybe the kind of I'm just happy to be here that the league is used to. Dude's been making money for years.
I was just about to say.
He's been making money more than maybe some of the coaches that sit in front of the last few years with NIL deals. He's been more famous than a lot of these guys. But to me, if he's playing well and he's producing, and that's what we're looking for as an organization, we do our background checks. Man, all we keep hearing is he's the hardest worker, first in, last out. Man, all his teammates love him. Man, the community loves him. Man, he went to a smaller school in Jackson State. They started to win. Goes to Colorado. They had one win before he got there. Then he goes to 6th and 9. Like, I'm like, I want my guy with a little bit of confidence. I want my guy being like, if you've got me on your team, you've got a winner.
Yep.
You played in the league. Ain't that what you want from your quarterback? Help me out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's different. So right now, you just said it. With NIL, these kids have had money for a while.
Yes, they have.
So you talk about the jewelry or the whatever. If you go one step above that in the NFL, what are those guys wearing?
Jewelry.
They already have it.
That's true.
So they have it now. So they're able to put it on display, and that's part of who they are. And they're kids. Let them have fun with what they're doing, right? You talk about the background check and all that stuff. That's real. They go deep, too.
Yeah.
And so you look
I've heard some stories.
Yeah, they go deep.
I've heard.
I'll just leave it. Yeah. They go deep. And so, like, you talk about Shedeur, you talk about him as a player. Does his teammates like him? Check.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Coaching staff loves him.
Yep.
Check.
One of them loves him.
Yeah,
maybe more than others.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
The community loves him. Check. All right, so you get that guy who's confident. You got a guy that believes he's the best player on the field. He's going to walk out there. And he's working hard on underneath that, not on top of that, underneath that, because we can see whatever we see.
Right.
As a fan, we're going to see what we want to see.
True.
But if he has the stuff underneath that's always hard working, and he presents himself in a situation where I'm confident I can get the job done, and he gets it done, none of this. This is all a moot point. But if he gets to a place and the success doesn't happen, this stuff will always be there, and he's going to have to look at it then, and that's the big thing. That
happens all the time. You can equate that to guys who are busy, right? Oh, I'm doing shows. I'm on New York Fashion Week, even though we just lost the game. They see me on the runway, right? And then I got a podcast. Boy, you better be winning.
About the podcast, please. I hate that.
You better be winning because the first thing fans are going to do, and maybe even your own coaching staff, man. I'm seeing you out here in these bell-bottom pants on Fashion Week, and I'm seeing you worried about this, and you're doing commercials, and you're doing podcasts. We're 3 out of our last 10 games we won. We need you to lock in. And even if you were locked in, it's just a perception.
That's it.
And that's something I can now point to and say, that's why we're losing, or that's why you're not focused because you're doing that.
Kel, that's the number one thing. It all depends on if you're winning. Because if you don't and you have that little mini slump, whatever it is, that's the issue.
Oh, of course.
And they're going to bring it up.
Paul George was what Shea was reminding us. Shea, he just and Paul, because I think Philly was like, hey man, this ain't LA, where we know everybody's in commercials and TV and people do that, bro. That's Philly.
They will crucify you.
They was about to go get
Yes.
the Meek Mill. They about to call Uzi Vert. All everybody. Hey, Gilly the kid, get Paul, because Paul is out here. Wow, Paul Podcast P had to put the P stood for pause. He had to pause it for a minute. Like, all right, let me get back to basketball, right? Because we are not playing well, and I personally am not playing well
that
either.
part personally,
But
he wasn't.
Can you walk us through what it's like in these meetings, what they're looking for? Because for him, if you just look at the tape, and some will say, well, he wasn't that great under pressure. Did you see the pressure he was? He looked like it was looking like Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl a lot of times because, they were still trying to recruit and get bigger guys, and they didn't have the bigs on both sides of the ball. That was probably really one of the only real flaws with the Colorado team is they didn't have the big uglies, if you will, and so therefore there were a lot of times over those couple of years where Shedeur was running for his life.
Yes. It's funny that the interview process is huge. It is. Because they can see you, they can see the player, and they can like the player, and they know that's part of the process of actually getting the guy you want. The tape matters. But when you get face to face with these guys, you can sway one of those guys in your favor, and you can sway them the other way as well. And so that part really does matter because I think you want to get guys that know ball. Number one,
of course,
especially a quarterback. He has to know ball. And so when you break down those meetings and you actually tell that guy to go up to the board and draw a basic concept for a pass route that you guys ran for your season. And we're going to show you a defense that, that's built to stop that. What can you get us to go in? If that guy can't answer that question, you're probably not going to take that guy.
Right.
Or he's going to fall down the draft. So it matters there, but also the type of person you are. At the heart, you can tell Shedeur, even with his bravado, the stuff that he has about him, the chains, all that stuff, he's a very well-spoken, well-mannered young man, and you could see that at the basis. And so if you get to sit with somebody and see eye to eye, face to face, and have a conversation, that matters. It really does.
Tom Brady has just been raving about him the last couple of years as he spent a lot of time with them in the offseason and whatnot, kind of helping him get right and train and learn and understand the game some more. He couldn't speak any higher of Shedeur. But again, I do think there's an element of what a quarterback is supposed to look and sound like and how that has been altered a little bit over the last handful of years.
Yes.
What I mean is Lamar Jackson, 15 years ago, probably drops even further than he did, even though he was a Heisman winner and Dagner should have maybe possibly won 2 Heismans because he doesn't look or sound the part. He's got the cornrows or he's got the other types of braids. Seriously, you know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
He'll talk how he wants to talk. He's just a different kind of cat, and he has been authentically himself, and that's why it's great that he went to an organization in Baltimore who is completely all about that. Be who you are. Yep. John Harbaugh could not love him anymore, exactly who he is, because you know what? He's a great dude. He works hard. We never hear any issues with him, and that's all he wants to do is ball and get better. He said, remember he said a few months ago, I don't even want to be friends with them other quarterbacks. I'm just trying to beat him and get better. But if you were in a room with him and a quarterback is supposed to look and sound a certain way,
exactly,
and I think there's an element you might I don't know, I don't quite get this kid. Cam Ward is another one.
Yes,
different bravado. Kind of just talks like I could see them. Some people being like, it's not how a quarterback's supposed to look or sound, and I think there may be an element of that as well.
And you know what's funny? The Lamar situation is perfect for right now. What you're talking about with Shedeur. In that meeting, he does not talk the way he talks now. So if he sat in front of you, no matter how good he was and how, he was a Heisman winning quarterback, right? You saw the tape, that jumps off because he can throw the ball.
Yep.
And run the ball. We know that. But in that interview room, he would not have won that room.
Right.
Now, the humility part of him, he's always been that. So they would know we can get him later.
Yeah.
Because he is a good guy. But probably being able to express what he wanted to express in the way that they wanted to hear it would probably be the reason that he failed. And then, on top of that, what makes it even more interesting is that's when the stories start to leak. So you talk about bravado. You talk about what people are saying about him. What they said about Lamar when he came out. He wasn't a pocket passer. He couldn't throw the ball from the pocket.
100%.
Far from the truth. I saw him. He went to Louisville. I saw him a lot. So I knew he could throw from the pocket. I was like, where is this coming from? It's the leaks. And those leaks come from people that want you to stay away so you can get them a little later. That's really all it is.
I mean, we got to forget this is a game, right? There are games being played, games being manipulated. You know what I mean? Hey, we want it. I don't want to pick him
exactly
5th. If I can get him 18th, if I can get him 25th. yeah, I don't really know. He didn't really wow us. He didn't do this. Is he available? Yes, we got him. We tricked everybody. Yes, it's some games being played. But I just know I'm not saying Shedeur Sanders is going to be an All-Pro. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. I just know every level he's kept winning, and I equated it to, minus the personal stuff, Kerry. Let me get this out of the way. Deshaun Watson. Remember how he kept winning in college, and they were like, I don't know. It's like, he just keeps winning, keeps getting better, keeps producing. They were like, I don't know. He's not this and that. Mm-hmm. Then he got the NFL. Horrible team, but what did he do? Turn him around to the point where he's an MVP candidate that last year in Houston. They were calling him Superman, right? Shedeur kind of reminds me of that. I'm not saying he'll ultimately be that good, but what I mean is you keep finding something, but you're like, man, he kind of won there. Okay, but what? Then he won there. And then like I saw him, win 9 games at Colorado. Guys, the team won 1 game 2 years prior.
That's right.
And again, you got Travis Hunter, you got players there, and credit Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, for getting them there. But I'm just saying, I'm kind of one of those dudes that probably going to laugh all the way for 7, 8 year, 10-year career where he's just like, y'all kept saying I can't. You know what I mean? I keep showing y'all that I can produce, I can do these things. So it'll be interesting to see him, Cam Ward, where they go. But I do think they're making a little bit out of nothing, in my opinion, with some of the maybe the personality traits.
I agree. No, 100%.